Hi, I'm Shannon Appelkline of Designers and Dragons, and you're listening to Morrus's unofficial Table Talk RPG Talk.
This week, Morrus, BJ, and Jessica look back at 2023 in RPGs and the industry. In the news, Wizards of the Coast has an AI art controversy. Again. PaizoCon is coming to local game stores, a new Disney RPG from Ravensburger, and more. Plus, a brand new sketch about confronting the GM about tone in her games. This week on Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG Talk.
Fleetway Incorporated is a reliable and speedy courier. They only employ the best ex-highwaymen and former pirates, so you know your precious cargo is in safe hands. With the region's largest stable of Pegasi, next-day delivery is almost guaranteed. Extra charges apply for deliveries free of Pegasus dung.
All the tabletop role-playing news. We aim to amuse and we aim to enthuse. And Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG
Hello, and welcome to Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG Talk. I am Russ, aka Morrus, or Morrus, aka Russ. And with me this week is...
PJ Coffey from the Southampton Guild of Roleplayers. For us, it is a delight to be here. I am so excited. It's been a week of change and difference and so forth. But enough about me and my dice and dumplings. Instead, let's talk about the person who actually did take the Hobbits to Isengard. It's the one, it's the only, it's
me, Jessica from EM Publishing. Thank you for the hype up this week, Peter, as always.
And now I have got that they're taking the Hobbits to Isengard video in my head.
We spent a lot of time on YouTube this week, so that makes sense.
They're taking the Hobbits to Isengard.
Isengard.
That's an old relic of the internet. Okay.
Hey, I have an idea. Why don't, and this is just a crazy idea, bit out there, what we could do is we could do some TTRPG news. How about it?
They always do that, though.
Peter, that's not why we're here.
Oh, okay.
No, it is. You're right. Yeah, absolutely right. Who wants to start off with this tabletop role-playing game news?
I'll start because we have some bad news to start with. We have some sad news to start with. So, industry veteran General Jackies passed away this week at the age of 68. Mm-hmm. She had been ill for a while with Guillain-Barré syndrome. Mm-hmm. And passed away, I think it was Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? Yeah, it was Wednesday. Yeah. So for those who don't know, General was kind of instrumental. It was one of those industry legends that's been around for a long time, and the development of not just D&D, but the whole tabletop gaming. Yeah. If you're playing a game, it's probably been influenced by her in some way at some point downstream. So
and not just tabletop role-playing games.
Oh, video games as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she's known for work on Dark Tower, Caverns of Thracia, also an artist. Did lots of RPG covers you may recognise, like the one for Dragon Mountain, which is that sort of red dragon on the on the rock in front of a big mountain, which is quite a famous cover. She worked for various RPG companies, can't name them all, but TSR, Judges Guild and Chaosium are amongst them. Video game companies, Quake, Age of Empires, things like that. Video games that you know and have heard of. And it was also an activist for trans rights and was instrumental in bringing about some important legislation. She was creative director for Transgender Human Rights Institute in Seattle, I believe that is, and was actually instrumental in bringing about some important legislation during, I think it was Obama administration, I believe.
So, overall, a very cool woman.
Yeah, I mean, creative director of the Transgender Human Rights Institute, specifically fighting against conversion therapy, which is never good in any circumstances. It doesn't matter what you try to convert, conversion therapy is pretty much antithetical to how therapy should work.
And helped get it banned, basically.
Well.
Yeah.
Alas.
Yeah.
Anyway, certainly made it less of a go-to.
Yes.
Yeah. I really liked Shannon Appelkline's blog. Designers and Dragons. Shannon wrote some lovely stuff about her, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's a sad day. It's not just a sad day for friends and family and stuff, but like for the industry, I think has really lost, an important figure.
It is really sad for the industry. I mean, as a lot of people might guess, I have an interest in women in tabletop RPGs. I'm in lots of groups and things, and I have mutual friends who were personal friends of Janelle's, so it's been a bit of an odd week. Literally on Wednesday, one of the people I stream the Baldur's Gate stream with, we do on Wednesdays, was a friend of Janelle's. And so on the day said, hey, this has happened. I think I still want to stream, but not the best day. So it's been a bit of a week. Speaking of family and friends and thinking of them, if you do want to support or do something, there is a GoFundMe page to pay for all the medical costs, because Janelle lives in the United States of America, and that's how that works. So there is a GoFundMe page that's linked on EN World if you want to check that out. And a lot of people have been donating. There's about $95,000 been raised of their $100,000 target at the moment. So if you would like to support family and friends, that is a good way to do it.
Yeah. Is that for the family to pay for the accrued medical costs before she passed?
That's correct, yeah.
Okie dokie. Right then, let's move on to happier stuff, shall we? Or should we start with... No, actually, not happier stuff quite yet.
Okay.
Let's talk about AI again and art again.
Oh,
and then we'll move on to happier stuff.
Yes,
what did Wizards of the Coast do this week? That would be our new segment for the show.
Coast.
I do, because I've already recorded This Week in Tabletop RPG, so I do.
I was trying to, do something.
It's not always Wizards of the Coast.
No, that's true.
But it frequently is, and it is in this instance as well.
I think basically when you're the biggest company in the industry, you're going to have a lion's share of the news is going to be about you, and that includes a lion's share of the bad news. So that's a charitable way of looking at it.
Yeah, and I mean, in fairness, they are such a big company, and they have so much. Well, let's do the story first.
Okay,
tell us what's happened, Russ.
Not a big fan of Too Big to Fail, to be honest. Didn't really sit well with me, that sort of line. But anyway, let's continue. What have they done now?
So a short while ago, they put out some. This is a Magic the Gathering rather than for D&D, but they put out some promotional images for Magic the Gathering.
Oh yes, right, yeah.
And various people pointed out that these images looked like they were made by AI. Now, of course, with them recently being falsely accused of AI, it was kind of hot on the heels of that. And they responded initially by saying, no, these were not made by AI. These were made by humans. Yeah. And people continue to say, look, it really, really does look like this is AI. It really, really, really does. Maybe you should check with your artists and things like that. And Wizards
was
said...
this the thing with there was like a temperature or a pressure gauge or something, and it was all nicely laid out, and then at the last it just had like a little bit extra squeezed in it that's really dodgy. I
think that was one of the artifacts. There were several pieces of art. I mean, there was one that's gone around a bit more than others, but I think there were like 4 promotional pieces in total from the same artist.
Right.
But Wizards said, we understand confusion by fans given the style being different than card art, but we stand by our previous statement this art was created by humans and not AI.
That's a tweet that has now been deleted.
That tweet has now been deleted, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. A few days later, comes another tweet. And this tweet said, well, we made a mistake earlier when we said a marketing image we posted was not created using AI, and then went on to explain exactly how that happened. Yeah, read on for more. So what essentially happened was they got the art from a third-party vendor. I don't know what that means specifically. That might mean something like a stock art company or a studio, or I don't know what that means exactly, a vendor, but... They got the art from this vendor, and it turns out, after investigation, yes, it is in fact AI art.
Right.
So
after they said that they wouldn't do AI art in final products, I suppose they just said, well, we'll do AI art and then change it up afterwards.
Well, they have said that they're evaluating how they work with vendors beyond final products. So things like marketing images will make sure that those values are across the board.
I think this is mainly about diligence, isn't it? It's not. I don't think they deliberately used AI.
I agree.
But they didn't do enough diligence to make sure they weren't using AI. Is what happened.
I can see how it happened, because we at EN
it's happened to us. It's happened
to us. We had something that we thought was by a human, and then we realised it was AI, so we didn't use it. Luckily, it didn't.
Yeah, we actually had to remove it and replace it. In fact, because it was already published. It was an issue of Gate Pass Gazette.
Oh, it was an online. Yeah.
It was ages. It was about a year. No, not a year, but it was a while ago. quite a while.
Yeah.
So,
But
certainly
can
trying to
happen.
find like stock art, which isn't AI.
Oh,
is
that's getting hard. That's getting hard. That's
Yeah.
getting hard.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's basically come down to somebody showed an example, and I would never have spotted it because I'm not familiar with M16s, and they were using the grenade launcher trigger instead of the regular trigger. So I'm like, oh, okay. Today
I wouldn't have spotted that either.
Yeah,
But then again, that could just be an artist who didn't know about M16s as well. You know, that's sometimes these things. It is hard to tell. Very hard to tell.
It is. I feel like being able to spot AI art is becoming a skill in the same way that certain people would know to look out for the Fae. If you know what I mean. Like,
count the fingers, don't do any deals with them.
There was one trick that that someone mentioned to me. So when you are searching for Google image searches, or you're searching on clip art sites, or you're searching on stock art sites like Shutterstock or whatever, one search term you can put on is before 2022. If it was posted before 2022, if the art was put up there before 2022, it almost certainly isn't AI art.
Yeah.
So that is one filter you can put on your searches and things.
That's really good advice, actually.
Yeah. I mean, you can't necessarily say not AI because people, you know, you can't trust that people will tag things as AI. But before 2022, they can't fake that. It's...
And we have people coming along to muddy the waters, because when we were talking about we don't want AI art in art, what we're talking about is parrot text slurifying other people's works which have been taken without like permission, consent, or payment or anything like that, and then regurgitated to look in a like vaguely uncanny valley like what it was originally. Right? We're not talking about things like red eye reduction or something like that. But there are people going, oh well, red eye reduction's AI. What do you think about that? And it's like, I don't care about that. That's not producing whole new images, which is taking away from artists.
Well, it's like if somebody photoshops an image.
Yeah. I mean, AI is getting integrated into more and more tools you use. You use Photoshop now. There's AI stuff built into it. If you go on to Shutterstock or you go onto Canva or any of these sort of like creative tools that on platforms online, there are now AI options that will generate text and images for you, just built right into. Like you go to Shutterstock, it's a stock art site. You have to buy, you buy like credits and download art, and you get the license to use it. And traditionally, of course, that's been by artists. Now, there's an AI button. It will generate some AI art, but yet still charge you for it, despite the fact that they haven't done anything. It's kind of, it's I don't know. It's not something that's going away, is it? This is going to be in the news constantly now.
We just need to. I think with AI, like we said before, there just needs to find a way to regulate it so it can be a tool that can be used in a way that's fair and ethical. Like with anything. It's
going to be regulated. It's also going to be enforced, though, that regulation. That's the hard part. You can make all the laws you like, but if people just ignore them and no one does anything about them, it makes no difference.
I mean, that's very true. And I'm not the person to ask about how we do that. But
I mean, a couple of things that spring to mind. Adobe opted in without seeking permission or consent everyone who uses their stuff to allow them to use their pictures to train their own like large language model art generating thing. And in other news, a chap called Professor Ben Zhao at the University of Chicago, recently released a survey asking for artists to come and see if they could spot AI art. And it was running about 70%, because they had 1,400 responses in less than a day. So not the best, but I don't know how many of these were artists.
So it's better than chance, but not great.
Yeah, not great, as you say.
Yeah. Not much better than those AI art tool detectors, which aren't accurate either.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see what the false positives on that were.
Yeah.
People identifying actual art as created by machine.
Yeah.
It's getting very good, so but equally, it's already non-copyrightable, and that lawsuit is grinding its way. So I don't think AI art is inevitable. I don't think we have to accept it. I don't think we should accept it. And ultimately, I would not like to try and be arguing for AI whatever when the companies themselves are coming out and say, oh, we can't work without using copyrighted material. I'm like, if you can't pay for your copyrighted material, maybe you don't deserve to be in business. But that's just me. I believe in paying for things. Old-fashioned that way.
Yeah,
very
it's
old-fashioned.
I can't afford to run. I can't afford to buy vans for my removal service. I have to steal vans.
Yeah, I mean, when I do house clearing, I just throw it out on the side of the road. I mean, that's fine, isn't it? Like, that's not going to inconvenience anyone. No, exactly. It's like, pay your way, big companies, especially if you've got venture capital. You know you can afford to.
Anyway.
And
We do talk about
story.
AI art quite a lot these days, but let's move on and
it's an ongoing topic, unfortunately. If they just quit it and go home, we wouldn't have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, then we'd all run out of things to say, wouldn't we? So where will we be?
Jess, give me a piece of news.
I'll give you a piece of news. PaizoCon. That's happening in 2024. So they do an online kind of convention as well every year, and it happens in May, and I'm 24th, 27th of May. There's an online and in-person one, and they're also this year doing in-person events at local game stores across the US. So there's a whole list of them. It's a pilot program. But there's a list of there's one in Manchester, United Kingdom as well.
So they're franchising PaizoCon.
Kind of, yeah. So pretty much it just means that, they're able to branch out and get local gaming stores involved and, run events and things. This is the pilot year, so it's like testing out to see if it works. But there's an article on EM World, so you can see if any of your local gaming stores have that. Like there's Mox Boarding House, Fanboy 3, Mighty Meeple. There's a list of them on there. And so it's not huge at the moment, but I think they're doing it small this year, seeing how it works, and then they could expand it.
Yeah, it's a trial run, basically.
Yeah, so the stores get things like exclusive access to things, to organise play releases. They get to participate in the interactive specials for Pathfinder and Starfinder. So it's kind of part of the convention. So if you used to go online because of access and you prefer to go to your friendly local gaming store, this would be the chance to go get involved in the pilot and see what it's like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's really cool. I love any initiative that props up gaming stores because because having owned one, I see the benefit they do to community building. Much like role-playing game clubs, they kind of serve that function. But it's a difficult thing to do, so I think it's great to do something to get involved. Get people going there.
Yeah. Okay.
There's my bit of news, which is a nice bit of news. Yes. You're welcome.
I got another nice bit of news. You want a nice bit of news?
Yeah, I love nice news.
Would you like to play a Disney princess?
Oh my god, yes! Yes, I would!
Okay. So, this is coming from Ravensburger, and it's a Disney-branded game, and it's called Chronicles of Light, Darkness Falls, Disney Edition.
Yes.
And in this game, you play Disney and Pixar heroines, including Moana, is that how you pronounce that?
Yes.
Violet, Maid Marian, and Belle, from various Disney properties. I don't know what else to say, really.
I do.
Go on.
I know, so say I read this and I was excited about it.
Go on.
But yeah, it's going to be $30. So it's like a board game storytelling thing. So it's kind of like an introduction to role playing in the same way that like Hero Quest is. It's got those similar kind of vibes for me. So yeah, it's coming to as a Target exclusive pre-orders for $30 on the 7th of July this year, and then it's going nationwide at Target. So that's the US release dates. I don't have the rest of the world yet, but I will tell you about it because I want a copy for my niece because I think this is great because she loves playing Hero Quest, and this just feels like that style of storytelling game that'll just lead you into it. So I'm really excited about it. Yeah, that's all I have to say about it. But yeah, it looks very cool. But yeah, you're playing these characters, and they haven't said what the unknown evil is, but the darkness falls. There's a evil, and they all have to cooperatively work together and go on quests to fight the darkness, whatever that is.
Nice. So it sounds like a multiverse of various strong, powerful figures who are coming together to fight off greater evil.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, interesting. Fully designed and illustrated by women as well.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't see that. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'll probably get that for my niece because she loves playing Hero Quest. Her character is Spider-Girl in that campaign. She plays an elf called Spider-Girl. She has a great time.
Fair.
Yeah.
Why not?
Spider-Girl the elf is also a cheerleader. So I think she'll gel with this.
So, I have some exciting news. The Forges of 5e designers who developed for Level Up Advanced 5th Edition have been very busy. Shall we do a lightning whirlwind tour?
Sure, if you like.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay, so I put some links over to you, but we've got utility spells Read Up from Purple Martin Games, which is a whole pile of, essentially, they're not combat spells, they're for utility to help you out and ease your way. Things like Beautify Creature, Convenient Retrieval, Laundry Day, and Map Marker. Plus, of course, the Phantom Transcriptionist, which I imagine will be very handy if your character is in a long meeting and you personally cannot be bothered remembering what it does. So, yeah, that's all good and going. That's $2 off Drive-Thru RPG. We've got Extra Credits and Deeper Mysteries, which is from the talented Lars Torgerson at Roll and Bones Gaming. And this has new archetypes for the Scholar and Witch classes, which were previously published by Roll and Bones Gaming. Currently 30% off if you get in quick. There's 24 new synergy feat chains, and goodness, I gotta say, I am always slightly in awe of the ability of people to make these synergy feat chains. These ones are specifically for the Witch and Scholar and involve 4 new archetypes for other classes. And there's guidelines for time required to build and upgrade strongholds, a fully optional alternate set of rules for firearms, and an expansion to the Witch spell list.
Cool.
And that's $7, and you get 30% off like some of the previous works. Wow. He said 30% off, but it looks more like 70% off because you can snap up the whole set of things for $13, which is pretty tasty.
That's a very good bundle, yeah.
Yeah, and and then sort of a extra wombo combo, Plant Witch Press, which has so Plant Witch Press, Thought, which has produced this on behalf of Roll and Bones Gaming in many ways, has produced the Kitchen Witch archetype and Half Magic. So if you're really into your cottagecore and your D&D, good news. This is the character concept for you. You use nourishing power of food and drink, leave retrieving their skills at the stove and or cauldron to assist their allies and punish their foes. It's got new class School of Magic with 20 new spells and 9 magic items spring magic and whimsy of the half, 2 characters with their witches or not. It's a thing. It's a thing. So not my aesthetic, but I kind of like it. So that is from Toil and Trouble, Kitchen Witch archetype and Half Magic for a Witch, $7.99 from Plant Witch Press. So there you go.
Cool.
Very nice.
Cool.
Well, speaking of Level Up A5e, I did launch the Gate Pass Gazette Annual this week. When I say I pushed the button because Russ was at the office on Tuesday.
Yes.
So I pushed the button. I did it all by myself. I wrote the book. I didn't know.
I liked your work on Dog People.
I sat there and I pushed the button on Kickstarter on Tuesday. And it's going really well. So it's exciting. So people that know, the Gate Pass Gazette is the official monthly magazine for Level Up A5e. Every month we have individual zines that can be printed or digital versions that you can get via the Patreon or later on Drive-Thru-RPG, and every year we do a hardcover compilation of the years of them. And so this is the second time we've done it, and so loads of exploration challenges, archetypes, cultures, heritage, backgrounds, destinies, feats, spells, loads of stuff.
Magic items.
There is so much content in these things.
It is crammed full of ideas. I'm very much looking forward to getting my copy. And if you... And this is the 2023 Gate Pass Gazette annual compilation.
Correct,
And I believe if you're, saying, oh, man, I wish I had got hold of the 2022 Gate Pass Gazette compilation, you can actually get both of them at the same time in beautiful hardcover and PDF versions.
Yes, they're doing bundles for that. And if you are a patron of the Gate Pass Gazette, you get a discounted version of it as well. Just wanted to put that out there as well. So if we will ask proof of your patronship. Is it called patronship?
Patronage, I think, is the technical word. But
I like patronship.
But patronship works.
The ship of your patron. But yeah, so we do a discounted tip for them. But anyway, that's live now, so if you're interested in that, you can check that out, because that's what I've been doing at work this week.
Yeah.
And preparing for lots of conventions this year. We've been having talks about conventions.
D&D stationery. By which I don't mean D&D is standing still. I mean stationery in the sense of notepads and journals.
Desky
and
things.
Paper products.
Okay.
Desk things. So, these are officially licensed D&D things. And the first one is called the Dungeons and Dragons Book of Concealment.
Oh.
And basically, this is a hardcover journal with gridded pages. so you can draw maps on them. A hardcover case, which unfolds into a 4-panel Dungeon Master screen. Mm-hmm. And you can pre-order that for $24. It's coming out in August, so it's a while off. And the other item is a Mimic. It is a treasure chest, a Mimic treasure chest notebook set. So you get a box that looks like a Mimic, and it's got 5 notebooks in there, each with a different monster on the cover. And each of them has different type of paper. So one's lined, one's gridded, one's, stuff like that. Yeah, and that one is also coming out in August. That one is $27.99. So D&D
gifty things.
Yeah.
They feel like gifty things. Should you be encouraged to do that?
Yeah, gifty things. Yeah, that's a Christmas present for a D&D player who you don't know what to get.
It's a bit late for Christmas, though, isn't it? We are in January now.
Well, it's coming out in August.
Oh, is it coming out in August? Oh, that's fair enough then. So I thought you meant it was out now.
Early Christmas.
I
you're playing too far ahead, Russ.
I know.
It's just outside of playing.
Russ is already excited for Christmas this year. He's already getting ready, making plans.
No, I got my birthday first.
That's
the big
true.
event this year.
That is big birthday as well. You're turning like 30.
I'm turning 30, yeah. Right. Anyway, more news.
I don't have much more news than that, to be honest.
It's like a weird free sci-fi fantasy TTRPG.
So what was that?
A weird free sci-fi fantasy TTRPG.
I do like all of those things individually, all of those words you said. How does it come together as one thing?
It's a game called Troika, Troaka !
I played that.
Yeah.
Is it all the things that Russ just described? Is it weird sci-fi?
Well, the way I choose to describe Troika is it's like early 80s British science fiction, which is heavily mixed with fantasy, so it's basically weird fiction at that point.
Yeah, it's like if you cross Dying Earth with Monty Python, I kind of feel, because you've got like backgrounds like the poorly made dwarf, fellow of the Sublime Society of Beefsteaks and the skeptical Lamassu, along with some slightly less zany ones like the Necromancer and like a regular dwarf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like in the game I played, I was playing a demon hunter armed with silver weapons, and we also had like a pan-dimensional surveyor who was coming along with his laser pistol to take measurements or surveys or something of what was going on.
Yeah.
It's an interesting game. It's quite fun, quite light.
I glanced at it very quickly because it's free. You can download it on their website. The game system, it really reminded me of, remember the Fighting Fantasy game system?
Yes.
2d6 and you had skill and luck.
Yes.
It really reminded me of that. Is it basically the same as that?
Yes. I mean,
okay, yeah.
Pretty much as far as I remember.
Yeah.
I think, like even down to using your health bar to cast spells and so forth.
Okay.
Which, I mean, it's pretty effective. Probably one of the things I actually quite liked as a little touch was the inventory system, which is where if you want to draw something out that you're not holding in your hands already, you have to roll 2d6 and roll equal to or under the number of where it is in your inventory stack. I mean, I feel it's a great game. It's held back by the fact that the user interface is not obvious. I was thinking about making a character sheet for it, but I decided I couldn't be bothered because nobody knows or cares who I am in the Troika space. But, I appreciate it. I think it's definitely worth your time, and free is a very hard price to beat.
It is.
The opening description of the dwarf, I feel, is like calling me out there. It's like, you're a short, hairy, belligerent, alcohol-dependent creature. I was like, really?
Damn.
I'm just trying to live my life on a Friday. Why are you being like this?
I know, right? God. I'm so sorry.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Personal attacks, man. Wow.
But yeah, free looks good. Yeah, you do have to join the newsletter to download the PDF for free, but you can read it on the website without giving your email address for free as well.
Yeah, it's correct. Yeah.
Oh, that's
okay,
nice.
other news things. What other news things have we got? Let's have a look. That's mainly it, apart from the stuff that we're bringing out in 2024, which I wanted to very briefly whip through. But is there anything I've missed that you can think of?
Yes!
Oh, go.
Yeah.
Doomguard! Are you excited about that? No? Okay. So it's a board game.
It's a board game?
Yeah, based on Savage Worlds Adventure Edition
TTRPG. Board game, not an RPG. Huh.
But it's based on Savage Worlds?
Yeah, but it's based on Savage Worlds.
Oh, okay. Let's continue. I do like
it's going to be crowdfunding on GameFound.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I know about it. There's more information in an article on EN World that's gone up just today. If you're interested and want to know more, I don't know much more about it. It's a cooperative board game for 2 to 5 players. Based on Savage Worlds. So if you're a Savage Worlds fans and like into your board games as well, maybe check that out. Check out the articles, see if it's your vibe.
Yeah.
But it's coming to GameFound this month. There's a bit of news.
Right.
Enjoy.
Shall we whip through our own 2024?
Absolutely, yeah.
Publishing schedule slate thing?
Yeah. I mean, every month I do like an hour's live stream for EN World for our monthly updates. If people do want more information, we do that on the third Thursday of every month. But do you want to do a quick whip around for the podcast?
So, I've got to do this really quickly. So, we put out an article listing the different things we're doing this year.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I'm going to go really quick. So, quarter one this year, we are bringing out the Gate Pass Gazette Annual 2023. We've already mentioned that. It's on
Now
Kickstarter
live.
right now. Okay? Don't need to repeat that bit. Then, also in quarter one, the Plane Strider's Journal, an essential guide to the planes and planar travel. It's got over 30 new planes in it, rules for web ships and planar travel, a load of player options, and an interplanar adventure.
Love it.
Lovely. Nice big hardcover book of that.
Yep.
Quarter two comes the Void Runners Codex. This is sci-fi. This is where A5E goes sci-fi. It's a 3-book set.
A
Void Runners
set?
Codex, yeah. Void Runners Codex is like the characters, heritages, classes, equipment, and various rules. The Star Captain's Manual with starships, starship combat, and space travel.
Nice.
And then we've got Escape from Death Planet, which is an introductory adventure.
But it'll all be bundled as one thing that you can buy.
Yeah. So that is quarter
that.
2. Then quarter 3. I mean, some of these dates might change and slip. That's always the thing.
This is our plan. We're sharing our plan.
Yeah. So we got Split the Horde, our first board game.
Yeah.
/ card game.
I played that.
You have.
So you've killed a dragon, and you're standing around, and there's a big old pile of loot there, and you're trying to divide the loot up, and it's a sort of negotiation card game, and you've got to collect basically the most treasure.
Well, the treasure that you want for your
for
your goals. Yeah.
To meet your secret objectives.
Indeed.
In quarter 4, Monstrous Menagerie 2, the sequel to Monstrous Menagerie, and this is lots of new monsters. And also heroic monsters, which makes you able to give monsters levels so they can level up. So your wolf pet or this pesky kobold you keep running into can start leveling up. Which is fun.
Sounds awesome.
That.
Yeah.
And then we've got a bunch of mini quick starters coming out throughout the year. As we always do, sort of in between these things. We've got a night in the library, which is kind of an adventure in a library and sort of like book-related resources. Secrets of the Grave, you can guess what that is, basically.
Zombie stuff. Including exploding zombies.
Exploded zombies.
Can you tell I picked these collections?
A book for tinkerers and inventors, and a collection of high-level adventures.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
They'll be sprinkled throughout the year.
Yeah, some of the stuff I can't talk about because it needs to be kept under wraps for reasons that will become clear later on in the year. But I am pretty pleased to say currently working with a partner to get a French translation of Crafting Heritages and Cultures, which was my first book. So hopefully that will entice people to the ways of level up in France.
What is Heritages and Cultures in French? How do you say that?
I don't know.
Oh, that's why you're working with somebody to translate it. That makes sense. Yeah, sorry.
Probably wouldn't have had a go if we were doing it in Spanish, but they seem to know the French RPG scene, and they've been recommended to me by people like Tim Hutchinson, who had a 1,000-year-old vampire translated into French. So it seems good. So it's basically we're going to have to translate the book, which isn't hugely cheap, but is doable, and get it relayed out, which is a pay, but definitely doable. And I'm hoping it is successful. So that'd be good.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool.
One last thing, the voting for the most anticipated tabletop RPG of 2024 is still ongoing. It will close in the next week, and we're going to be talking about the results in next week's show. But you've still got a few days left to jump in there and vote. And when we say the link, it's over on Ian Road. The link will be in the show notes.
And when we say a few days, it is literally this weekend. It closes on Monday the 15th. So you have this weekend.
Yeah, and then that gives me 3 days to compile the results, 4 days to compile the results.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Right then. Well then, I think we are now done with the news. The news of Rooney.
Wow, can you believe we're 10 weeks into this campaign? Only 10 weeks to go.
10 more weeks.
Somehow it feels like 20.
What do you mean? Are you not having fun?
Oh, we're having fun, all right.
Yeah, just maybe a bit, too much fun.
Too much fun? There's no such thing as too much fun.
Don't get me wrong. I like fun as much as the next person.
But sometimes, the fun needs
Juxtaposition?
Excuse me?
oh no.
A contrast, so that we can appreciate the fun.
Are you not appreciating the fun?
Well, look, it's not that we're not appreciating it.
It's just that it's so relentless.
Yeah, relentless fun.
Yeah, but surely that's a good thing? Like, everybody likes fun.
Everybody likes custard, but there is definitely a thing has too much custard.
I don't like custard.
Shh, it's a metaphor.
I'm pretty sure I don't like metaphorical custard either.
Oh, look, what is it you want? You want this game to be less fun? So you'd prefer to not to enjoy it?
I just think maybe a little darkness here and there will give the story much needed depth and verisimilitude.
Yeah, some stakes which aren't quite so,
No, I don't know. Stakes which aren't quite so what?
I think what we're trying to say is that the more jocular elements of the adventure.
The amusing bits, the comic relief.
Yeah, the amusing sidekicks and the daft monsters.
I thought you liked the occasional bit of humour.
It's not occasional, is it? It's kind of overwhelming.
It's a constant stream of Pythonesque gags.
Oh, come on. I mean, okay, I know that the sock puppet salesman was a bit much, but, I thought we'd move past that.
There was the quest for the missing llama.
Sir Fluffington.
You didn't like that? I thought Sir Fluffington was a massive hit.
A town run by Mayor Wobblebottom.
The narcoleptic dragon, that magic sword with an inferiority complex.
Oh, the goblins team-building picnic. The bridge troll poetry slam. The chicken jousting tournament.
Oh, come on, that chicken jousting tournament was hilarious.
I mean, I won't deny it.
You were all talking about it for days.
It's not like any of these things are bad in isolation. It's really just the sheer volume of them.
Oh, come on. I mean, it's not that much. It's a light sprinkle of levity here and there.
A light sprinkle. Look, in just the last month, we've had a swarm of gummy bears, a ticklish ent, that mysterious case of the exploding sheep.
There's a yodeling yeti, the snails tug-of-war tournament, the uprising of the giant rubber ducks, the goggles of moustache detection.
A haunted cheese, a disco dragon, the Vorpal sock, a lich doing stand-up comedy, an army of mimes.
Oh, look, I spent weeks writing that lich's stand-up routine.
Yeah, and over an hour delivering it.
But it's such good material. We were talking comedy gold here.
Nonsense is what it is.
What? Nonsense? Come on, be fair. Okay, it might be a little over the top, but, nonsense, that's a bit strong.
What would you prefer we call a cloak of invisibility to chickens? Or a wand of quacking? Ludicrous? Ridiculous?
General twaddle and outlandish farce? Utterly preposterous inanity? A big old pile of steaming drivel?
I mean, okay, I get it. Maybe I'm leaning a little too far into the absurd. I'll try to rein it in a bit.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We love your games. We just like a little more plausibility.
Authenticity, if you will.
Absolutely. Okay, so no more clowns, no more geese, no more dire badger squads.
I'm so glad you took this so well.
We were worried we'd offend you.
No, not at all. Look, feedback is good. Feedback is useful. I now know, how to change the direction of the campaign to steer the story in a more
Dramatic?
A more dramatic direction.
Yeah, I can't wait. I love me a bit of tension and intrigue.
I'm hoping for a spot of suspense. Maybe something even a little sinister.
Oh, with the occasional poignant moment, of course.
Oh, of course.
Right, okay. So I'm ready. Right, okay. So let's get this show back on the road. So one serious, weighty adventure coming up. I've even come up with a name for it.
Oh, pray tell us.
My friend, welcome to...
Yes?
The Bumblebee Golem's Great Cheese Heist.
I hate you.
Why?
Malak the Maleficent here. If, like me, you're enjoying this podcast, please consider subscribing on Patreon for exclusive bonus content every week and the warm, fuzzy feeling of knowing you are helping to keep the show going. Subscribe at patreon.com/Morrus. There, I said it. Can you stop staring at me like that now? The things I do. All right. Don't forget, patreon.com/Morrus. Can I go now?
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are going to take, because next week we're going to be looking forward to the most anticipated games of 2024 and looking into the future.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take our time machine, and instead of looking into the future, we're going to look into the past this week. And we're going to take a look over the roller coaster that can only be described as 2023 in tabletop role-playing games, which was a year where a lot of stuff happened.
I mean, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There was good stuff and there was bad stuff. I would say probably more bad stuff than good stuff, but there is good stuff in there.
Yeah. There were lots of cool games released.
Yeah.
But also Dungeons and Dragons did things.
Okay. So I can...
Yes.
Right. So this isn't necessarily... Let's not necessarily promise this is all going to be in chronological order. That's too much of a tall order. We're not going to be that organised. But we're basically going to sort of like think about last year, things that happened last year. If we can remember when it was, try and say. But otherwise, we're not, I'm not going to try and make this a sort of a really bland sort of like list, chronological list.
And then,
just
in January...
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay. Well, obviously the big thing that happened last year was the OGL crisis in January.
Yeah, so that's how we launched the year. That's how we started the year,
Yeah.
We started the year with a crisis at Wizards of the Coast.
And across the
Throughout the
industry.
year, we then moved on to a crisis at Wizards of the Coast. A little later in the year, there was a crisis at Wizards of the Coast. I think sort of around autumn-ish, there was kind of a crisis at Wizards of the Coast. And then coming towards the end of the year, there was probably a couple of crises. What did we agree the word was?
Crisis.
Yeah. At Wizards of the Coast. So, I think the year was characterised by Wizards of the Coast crisis.
You just say doing the rake stomp fandango. Yeah. Just like, that bit from The Simpsons where Sideshow Bob, with his comically oversized feet, is trying to make his way out of the spill of a garden rakes. Yes. And every time he takes a step, bam, onto the face.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it doesn't seem to have hurt their sales or stopped them from going along.
There's different things that happened with Wizards, though. Just think about it. So, they start with the OGL crisis, which we've talked about at length. I think probably anyone listening to this knows what that is.
Yeah.
But basically, they tried to cancel the Open Gaming License, which is a license which allows third-party creators to make material compatible with D&D and have been using for 20 years and have built up entire companies and infrastructures based around.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to cancel it, tried to rescind it.
Mm-hmm.
They backed down in the end, fortunately, after a massive, massive backlash.
Yeah.
Really, really massive. And I don't think they've recovered from that sort of PR-wise yet, because people, I kind of keep seeing people, like this is a year later now, people keep saying, why does everyone keep on having a go at Wizards of the Coast, or it's a Wizards of the Coast witch hunt and stuff, and they can't do anything right, can they, and stuff like that. And I think my answer to that is, any other company...
Coast witch hunt?
Yeah, some people...
Goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, why not? Yeah.
Another company, if they made a misstep, like accidentally used some AIR and screwed up in that manner, like, you'd give them the benefit of the doubt, I think. At least I hope you would. But...
No, well, I mean, I've been reading the in-world forums. Apparently, having the Pinkerton sent around your house is, like, armed men turning up at your house is okay. Because, like, you must have been shady for some reason.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But,
bizarre.
Yeah, but I think Wizards hasn't earned back the trust yet to get the benefit of the doubt. I think that's the problem there. That's why that happens. Why, everything Wizards does, people jump on.
Yeah.
It's because the damage that was done at the beginning of last year,
Mm-hmm.
they did, I think, manage to largely salvage it PR-wise with the whole Creative Commons thing, where they put D&D into Creative Commons.
Mm.
I don't know what more they could have done from a PR perspective to fix it. Yeah.
It wasn't but it wasn't a complete salvage, and there are still they are still earning back that trust. And when they keep making missteps during that period of earning back that trust, it just makes that whole process take longer. And it's just...
Yeah, I think another reason as well is because Wizards are an industry leader, so they're a big company and they have lots of people doing various bits of jobs. Most other smaller tabletop RPG companies are 1 or 2 people enthusiastically running companies. And so that's why I'm willing to give them more benefit of the doubt, because sometimes when you're wearing many hats and spinning many plates, one of the plates falls. So usually when it's a smaller company like that, I'm like, okay, I know there's like 2 or 3 people doing this, so they messed up and they're trying to fix it. But when it's a big corporation where it's somebody's full-time job to make sure that this bit does that, it's a little bit more... Yeah. I don't know. They have more resources. You'd think with more resources you could have more checks and balances.
Diligence. Yeah.
Diligence. That's the word.
Diligence is the word.
But anyway.
Like, they can afford to hire editors. They've got proofreaders. They've got... Like, I think they have now definitely started to use sensitivity readers, because that was something that was missing from some fairly key work. I mean, I don't know if it's got a sub-editor, and there's also the writer. So that's 4 sets of eyes looking at each bit of each page. And, like, yeah, that's good. I mean, I'm pretty fancy in my work. I have a copy editor and proofreader checking my stuff out. But if I make a mechanical mistake, then that's entirely on me. I don't have anyone, checking my stuff to prevent it. And, just get... I mean, if they wanted, they could just give me, $10 million or something, and I would make sure they had much more polished books. Just saying.
You'd only charge $10 million?
I know. You think I'm going a bit too underrating my proposal there. I should ask for more.
But shall we talk a little bit less about the OGL and the fun books?
Yeah, so let's move on from the OGL, because we launched the year with the OGL.
In March, the Dungeons & Dragons Honor Amongst Thieves film came out.
It did. It did come out. And that was a good thing.
I liked it. I think it was... I was hoping it would... I felt it did capture the spirit of a D&D campaign, like those kind of silly
I was hoping it would be more
moments.
successful than it was, I think.
Yeah, I was hoping it would be a gateway into the hobby for some people. But I think it was. I imagine some people saw it and were like, oh, let's try out this D&D thing.
Maybe. Yeah, but it was a fun movie, and it was a good thing, and it's good to see the hobby getting more and more mainstream. It's not like it's the first ever D&D movie, obviously, but there've been 2 or 3, haven't there?
I think this
was 2.
I think this is the best of the D&D movies that I've seen.
Of course, yeah, without doubt. Yeah.
Another thing to mention is loads of new tabletop RPGs came out as well, and I think January gave really good sales for game companies that were not Wizards of the Coast, because a lot of people went, screw this OGL situation, we're going to go buy other stuff.
Chaosium sold out
at
the beginning of the year, because tons of people went over to Chaosium and checked out Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Loads and loads of people. Pathfinder, massive boost from that. We did as well. We had a really good start to the year as well. Yeah.
Took a look at Level Up. That have been doing it for a while.
So basically, it didn't last the whole year, but the first quarter of the year, I think, it was a decent boom there for
indie
alternatives to D&D.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool.
And speaking of alternatives to D&D, there's also been new ones made, of course, that are even spilling into this year. So we have, the basic universal role-playing system came out, and then also Pathfinder's doing a new addition to DOGLify it. We have Project Black Flag, now Tales of the Valiant.
Yeah.
We've got the MCDM system.
But the MCDM is just a new game. It was
But I feel like it's an alternative to D&D, because it is like a fantasy setting. I feel if you've played a lot of D&D, you're going to be very comfortable moving over to playing that game.
I guess. It feels very different to D&D to me, that game, from what I've seen.
It is very different to D&D, but from what I've seen, obviously I haven't seen the final product because it's not done, but it will be different, but I feel the vibes and the tone, which I think for a lot of people is what's important about the game.
Yeah. Going back to sort of Wizards and their year, so we were saying how they launched with the OGL. I just want to really, really quickly just shoot through Wizards year.
Okay.
Because that's kind of... And this is quite negative. It is quite a negative section. But I think if we shoot through Wizards year, we can then talk about other stuff afterwards, which is less negative.
Okay, all right, okay.
So, so Wizards year, so they start with the OGL thing, beginning of the year. End of last year, beginning of the year, start with the OGL thing. They have this Creators Summit early in the year where they invited bloggers and YouTubers and third-party curators. I got invited to that too, which was kind of billed as a way for Wizards to talk to these people, these creators that create content. And by content, they mean not just compatible material, they mean videos about their stuff and, content creators in the YouTube sense.
It was mostly YouTubers and online personalities that they wanted to speak to rather than people who actually made stuff for their games, as I recall.
Yeah. And basically that was part of the problem. There was a bit of a backlash where a lot of the actual people who create gaming material, pushed back, saying, "Wait a minute, this is at this Creator Summit. You haven't invited any of us. You've mainly just invited YouTubers and stuff." That was a miscommunication, I think, because by creator they mean YouTube creator as in the way YouTube uses the term creator, not as the way the TTRPG industry uses.
Yeah, they don't want game creators. They want online video content creators.
But they did turn around. They did turn around and invite game creators after that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, including myself. But it turned out to be more of a marketing event, and people kind of turned up expecting this to be a conversation about some of the things going on with Wizards and how Wizards could support creators and some of the issues that were going on. And this is before a lot of the later stuff in the year had happened. So, it was post OGL. So, things like that. So people kind of thought they were going to get to talk about that and stuff. And it was more of a marketing event. And so pretty much people kind of rebelled and just pretty much turned it into a sort of, Shannon Applekind calls it a referendum on Wizards' business and hiring practices.
Wow.
That's basically what it kind of turned into. Like, all the Q&A sessions weren't about, hey, what great stuff have you got coming out? It's, what are you going to do for marginalised creators? What are you going to do for people trying to buy stuff in the global south? What are you going to do about this, that, and all this sort of stuff? It turned into that, which was not Wizards' intention.
No, I imagine.
So that happened.
Yeah.
Then, of course, we had Big B Presents, Glory of the Giants.
Yeah.
Got published, and there was some art that was obviously AI in the book itself. It was a freelance artist who submitted the AI art, but it hadn't been picked up by the chain of command going up through the Wizards art department and stuff. At which point Wizards kind of turned around and said, okay, we're putting this policy in place, no AI art.
Yeah.
Not that kind of stuck for the rest of the year, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Well, easier said than done, maybe.
Yeah.
They basically got... They got called out twice more. Yeah. So there was...
Give me more to be gracious about. Sorry.
Yeah. They got called out twice more for art. One falsely for that YouTuber who claimed that they'd used AI art in some marketing material when they hadn't.
Yeah.
And then once correctly when they denied they'd used some AI art in some Magic the Gathering marketing material when they had, which we actually talked about earlier in the episode. So that, so the AI art thing hasn't been fixed at Wizards yet. That's still a problem for them. What else did we have? We had the Pinkertons. They sent the Pinkertons around to forcibly recover some Magic the Gathering cards that had been accidentally sold in advance to somebody.
Yeah.
Which, guess what? Got pushed back against as well. As a,
Yeah.
It turns out Wizards have been using the Pinkertons for years as well, by the way. It's like, since like 2017 or so.
Okay.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, they're owned by a Swiss company now. They're actually a Swedish company now.
Right.
But originally, I think it was it like the 1800s or so they came about? And they were basically kind of like a private detective agency, but more they were just sort of enforcers, as I understand it.
Yeah, like if I said paramilitary, that is a more modern phraseology, but I think would reflect their methodology as it was espoused in the 1800s better. Machine guns
stuff, yeah.
Machine guns,
anti-union stuff, yeah.
In private hands, used to try and break up strikes. Machine guns, I'm just
yeah.
It's paramilitaries. I think really is a better description of what they did at the time. I mean, it's still illegal for the US Congress to hire them. So due to how badly they managed to make themselves seen.
Yeah. And then what else? And then we had Hasbro laying off about 2,000 over the year in total, because it was 800 people early in the year and another 1,100 towards the end of the year, which pretty much wiped out a lot of people at Wizard of the Coast.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And that was all planned. I mean, that's going back to October 22 when they actually planned it out. and said, we want 300 million in cost savings. And
that means
you're
people.
not going to do that by saving bits on like toy factories and so forth. You're actually going to get rid of people. Yeah. As you say, Jess.
Yeah. So that was kind of Wizards' terrible year. They did not have a good year. They kind of like misstep after misstep after misstep this year.
But did it affect their profitability? Did it affect their revenue and income?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Has their share price changed? Because are the shareholders undergoing misery of just getting dividends as opposed to a rising share price?
Well, the Hasbro share price, obviously, that's a different issue to how well Wizards is.
Yes, yeah.
Like, Wizards as a department within Hasbro has been doing very well, but Hasbro as a whole has not been doing well.
Yeah.
So the share price hasn't, been doing so well. But Wizards, as I understand it, is, they're golden goose. They're
the most profitable part of the company.
That's why there were talks, I think, was it back in 2022 that we reported on that they were trying to separate them as their own, like, branch of the company so that they could have their own share prices and be but that didn't come to fruition.
There was some shareholders formed a sort of coalition and tried to force that through. It didn't happen.
No.
I mean, since then, those same shareholders are fully on board with Project Excellence, which is that aforementioned $300 million of quote cost savings, unquote.
Yeah. So I wonder if Wizards' year this year will be any better, given that they've got the new D&D books coming out.
Well, I think the business's priority is revenue and sales, and that is continuing despite these PR things. So why would they change it?
I mean, they've managed to like claw back some problems from becoming full blown ones. For instance, the deck of many things, they had it sent out, and the cards weren't cut properly, so they managed to catch that snag, sort it out, and get cards out to people that weren't horribly messed up. And apparently these are very much the business, although I feel maybe that's sort of misjudged their market in some ways, because there's a lot of people I see online who are like, oh, but I've had to tear apart the packing case. And, I try not to let that sort of thing get to me, but I don't know if I would be able to stop it, because I just feel really bad about destroying, like, a beautiful thing that it came in, if that makes sense. I'd like want to preserve it whole. I don't know, it's just like, wanting. I can't really explain that sort of urge to like curate your collection and look after it really carefully, but I feel like that's sort of been missed for some reason by Wizards. That's a bit sad, really.
Yeah. So, but on the positive side, D&D related, the movie was good, and Baldur's Gate 3
is great.
Kicked ass, basically. Yeah.
I love that game. If people didn't know.
Really?
I've not mentioned it.
Who knew Jess? Yeah.
Yes. The signs were subtle, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, that was
for one.
Yeah, that was a massive triumph. That was great. So what else happened? So the Open RPG creative license, Orc license from spearheaded by Paizo. Came out, and Paizo went to completely divorce Pathfinder from D&D, stripping out any sort of D&D, SRD content
Pathfinder
from their
remastered,
games, renaming what they had to do, all sorts of stuff. So their new version of the game, which they call Pathfinder Remaster, has no,
not even
D&D.
an owlbear.
Yeah, not even an owlbear in there. D&D
thoroughly deoglified.
Yeah.
But will there be a bear owl?
Thoroughly.
Sorry?
Will there be a bear
owl?
owl?
They should just call it a bear owl, shouldn't they?
Yeah. Well, I think that's the way forward, yeah.
Stick that in the Monstrous Menagerie, done.
Yeah. And then, of course, Kobold Press also did Tales of the Valiant, which was, their DOG-edified version of 5e.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's certainly the Kickstarter. I have every reason to believe it will be with us soon. It's definitely on its way. People are working on it, absolutely. I mean, it's not here, but, it's on its way. And they've just done a Kickstarter for their DMG, so, it's well on its way to being 50-60% complete, which is
going to be
great
really interesting to see how well that does, because it was, announced in the wake of the OGL thing. There was a lot of enthusiasm for the idea of alternatives to D&D, but I kind of feel like that has died down, and I wonder if the sort of like, you know, desire, impetus, the momentum to do that has dropped a bit. I don't know. But we'll see how the next Kickstarter goes, I guess, and see how well because the first one did over $1 million,
Yes.
which I think went to show that there was definitely a desire for that product.
Mm-hmm.
Whether the second one will or not, I don't know.
Yeah, hard to say. It's certainly something I see a lot of chatter about online. And I must say, if you'd be like, mind your own business, and some PJ Coffee said, oh, don't forget about Level Up Advanced 5th Edition, then you're welcome. I don't know why you wouldn't know who I was if you listened to the podcast, but I'm the same person who's been telling you about it. But yes, Advanced 5th Edition is available to play, and I quite like it, which is nice. I am looking forward to Tales of the Valiant. It will be, I imagine, quite good fun. I'm looking forward to creating some sort of horrendous sticky hybrid of the game systems wherever I can. There's no way this can possibly go wrong.
No. What could go wrong?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, sorry. You crack on.
Yeah. There were the big successes. There was Critical Role filled Wembley Arena. Do you remember that last year?
Critical Role had a good year, yeah. I was going to talk about
Yeah.
them. So filling Wembley Arena for one of them.
Yeah, Wembley, they did fill Wembley Arena, but they had a damn good go at it. And
12,500 seats. What's the capacity of Wembley Arena? It says
60,
sold out.
60,000 or so?
No, not Wembley Arena. You're thinking Wembley Stadium.
Oh, okay. Yeah, probably, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
I'm thinking the one with the bigger arc, so yeah.
Yes, you're thinking of the football pitch. Yeah.
Maybe next year. That's next year's plan.
yeah. That's a lot bigger than the arena.
Well, there you go.
But
That's how closely I'm following it.
There was also Tal'Dorei Reborn, the Critical Role setting book on D&D Beyond.
Yeah. Well, not just that. They put a few third-party stuff on D&D Beyond, didn't they? They put some Ghostfire Gaming stuff up there.
Mm-hmm.
So D&D Beyond's starting to stock things that weren't from Wizards.
Yep.
I want to say the Dungeon Dudes.
Yeah, Dungeons of Drakenheim, I think it was, or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. But going back to Critical Role as well, of course, they released their book, Candela Obscura, as well, and they've got plans to do Daggerheart as well, which they announced and talking about.
Daggerheart, I think it's going to be the big one.
Yeah.
I think.
Yes, that's coming out this year, isn't it? That was talked about last year. And they're going to do their actual plays, showcasing them. And I think that'll be they're really different from D&D, both the systems.
Yeah.
And I think that's possibly really good for the industry, because I think a lot of people came to Critical Role, found Dungeons and Dragons that way. So I think being introduced to new systems by Critical Role will make people go, oh, there's other stuff and there's different things, and hopefully spread around to other parts of the industry as well. So I'm pleased to see Darrington Press making their own things and doing stuff.
Yeah, I think there's anyone that could be an ambassador that just sort of stands up and says, hey, look, there's stuff other than D&D you could try. It's them.
They're well placed to do that.
Yeah. And just get the idea, the seed of the idea.
Yeah.
That there are alternatives. Yeah.
Exactly.
Basically.
So, please see Candela Obscura out there.
What else happened? Oh, do you remember someone trying to... No, not trying to steal. They did actually steal like $250,000 of Magic the Gathering cards from a convention, was it?
And chose...
Yeah, that's right.
They
just strolled up.
And didn't wear masks or anything.
They've been caught, haven't they?
Yeah, they were on those CCTV, and they were like... They weren't even wearing like a face covering.
They just strolled out,
like a COVID mask.
So didn't they have like T-shirts with their company name on them?
They
or
did,
something?
yes, they did. They had T-shirts with their logos or their It wasn't.
I mean, it sort of makes sense in some respects, but also no.
It very much felt like an RPG heist with obvious things that you shouldn't do. Things like that, like somebody, walked out.
Yeah. It sounds like a sketch, to be honest. I should write a really bad heist sketch for our next episode.
There we go. It's next week's.
Where they do everything wrong.
Sorted.
Yeah.
We, of course, had lots of Unearthed Arcana playtests, so we're hearing a lot more about the not new edition of D&D, the 2024 revised core rulebooks, or whatever it's currently being called. That's not a new edition.
Yeah.
So that's coming along. I really enjoyed some things from Free League. Of course, they kept pumping out all the licenses. So we had, Blade Runner, The Walking Dead. Oh gosh, what else? She says, look at the shelf. Dragonbane.
One Ring, was that this year? Last year? I think it was, wasn't it?
I don't even know.
Oh no, maybe the Kickstarter was the year before and it came out last year.
Yeah, maybe it was that. But yeah, so loads of licenses coming from them, which is very cool to see.
I mean, there's been a lot of big successes this year. There's, apart from Free League, like Kickstarter has had its equal best year ever for $1 million Kickstarters.
Yeah.
It had like stuff from 3D, obviously, because it always has stuff from 3D. Monty Cook Games got a couple in there.
Yeah.
Old Gods of
Appalachia.
Appalachia, and things like that.
And Back-A-Kit,
You know,
as well. Remembering the, what's it called? The role-playing game for Gloomhaven.
yeah.
So I think other Back-A-Kit as a crowdfunding platform is having quite a few successes as well. For big creators.
Yeah, of the top 3 tabletop RPG crowdfunding projects ever, 2 of them are now Back-A-Kit.
Yeah.
Number 1 still Kickstarter with Avatar.
Yeah.
But then you got 2 Back-A-Kits straight after that.
And I wonder if that's the case, that if you're big enough, it doesn't matter what crowdfunding platform you use. I wonder if it's a case of that opposed to...
Possibly.
Time will tell.
Yeah, possibly.
I mean, this is counting Gloomhaven, which was a reprint of Gloomhaven with an RPG whacked on top.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, fleas riding elephants and so forth, sure.
Okay.
I don't know if we can say that Back-A-Kit is the new home for role-playing game Kickstarters or crowdfunders.
Indeed.
And Kickstarter does have a lot of space.
Indeed.
If I'm
and
saying
that's...
Kickstarter, so crowdfunding.
And that's where I did not use those words. But yeah, I was just saying there have been some projects for tabletop on Back-A-Kit that done well. I wonder if that's just because if you have a large enough following, you're big enough, it doesn't matter what crowdfunding platform you use. But remains to be seen. We shall see. But in a way, I think it's good that there are other crowdfunding platforms that are being used, because generally monopolies in any industry are not a
Competition
good thing.
is good for the consumer, basically.
Yes.
Generally speaking.
Yes.
And
consumer means people buying the games, but also for publishers. Because if there's only one platform you can use, you kind of don't have a choice about percentages or the way you do business or terms.
Yeah. Of course, the only danger of that is it fragments the audience and might mean you're reaching less people on any specific one. But
True.
that doesn't seem to have been the case so far yet.
Very true.
Yeah.
I think it would need a lot more fragmentation for that to happen.
Yeah. I mean, Kickstarter was, I think, at one point proposing to look at NFTs and its own cryptocurrency and so forth.
A few years ago, that was 2 or 3 years ago now. But they backed down on that, didn't they?
They did. They were like, wait, what? Nobody likes this? I mean, to be fair, like, Chaosium was thinking about it as well at one point. So yeah, it's definitely been interesting, although these bubbles have since burst pretty much conclusively, so...
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, the big releases were there this year. There was Marvel Multiverse came out last year, didn't it?
Need to play that.
By Matt Forbeck. I haven't played it. I mean, I've got the playtest version. I don't think I've got the final one.
Yeah, I remember you saying you bought the playtest version of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen someone offering to rent it, but yeah.
Other big games that people were excited about that came out was Household by Two Little Mice as well, which I have, which is it's a very pretty collection. You can see them behind me; they look like books, so it's a very pretty thing. And Shadow of the Weird Wizard as well. The update of Shadow of the Demon Lord.
Well, the kids version of it, I think, wasn't it?
Well, I don't know if it's more family friendly, certainly, but.
Yeah, maybe kids' version is not quite the right way to describe it.
But yeah, I knew where you were going. Maybe I'm being pedantic.
With the Far West thing.
Mm-hmm.
So this is possibly one of the most delayed Kickstarters in history.
Oh, really? What's
finally delivered?
When was it crowdfunded?
So this was a Kickstarter which funded in 2011.
Okay, that's impressive.
It funded in 2023. Far West. Western Wuxia RPG.
That genuinely, that was that.
That does sound like a combination of words I would like.
How?
But the 12-year difference is a bit of a deal breaker.
It has become infamous over the last decade as being the sort of like the top of the sort of like Kickstarter fails list.
How? What?
Well, it's beaten out Exalted Third Ed, which I thought would be a record that's still unbroken. By a Kickstarter that actually delivered, so yeah.
How did it take that long? What's going on?
I mean, I don't know what went on behind the scenes. I wasn't paying attention. All I know is that people got very angry for about 10 years, and finally it came out.
People were angry on the internet? What?
Yeah. I think it went past anger to the point where people were too angered out.
I would have given up on it. I haven't had a Kickstarter fulfilled like a decade beyond what it said it was going to be. I'm like, well, that's
But it did.
gone.
It delivered. So, finally.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still... I've got a Kickstarter that's so delayed, the guy's like, I'm going to need to do a second Kickstarter to get the funds together. to pay to finish it.
That's...
What?
And I was
doing
like, can I talk about that? Yeah. Fucking.
Do you want to?
Was it Heroes of Tara, which I backed because I'm like, an Irish mythology themed Kickstarter.
That sounds cool.
That seems quite respectful. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, this sounds very much my cup of tea. I'd like to have a look. And yeah, like, the guys had problems, and now they're looking for what he describes as a very achievable $7,000 goal. I'm like...
On a second Kickstarter?
On a second Kickstarter. He's not asking for funding. Yeah, this is a July 2021 Kickstarter.
Yeah.
It's been 2 years, and...
So what are they selling on the second Kickstarter?
The book, again.
But you can't
Yeah.
sell the same thing again on Kickstarter. It won't let you.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I basically, at this point, I'm just like, I'm not seeing this book, because if he needs $7,000 off Kickstarter, he ain't getting it, quite frankly.
Ha!
It's to pay for the editing, pay for
It's not even
editing and
edited
layout.
yet. Or laid out yet. So it's basically just
A manuscript.
a manuscript still.
Like, I mean, they pay $3,000, I guess, £3,000 in editing, which is like, they said $3,800, yeah.
What did they raise in their first Kickstarter? How much?
Let's have a look, actually.
What did you say it was called?
Heroes of Tara.
Tara.
That's it, yeah. Which, like I said, is actually a fairly good name. I mean...
Ah, there it is. Yeah, okay, I found it. So, yeah. So they got $41,000.
Yeah.
They got $41,000 and you're saying that they haven't even got it edited yet? It's just a manuscript.
They've done...
And they've run out of money.
I don't know too much, but he says they need another $7,000 to finish off editing and, I believe, layout.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. All right. So this is posted January 11th. Oh, very recently. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's sort of at the forefront of my mind when we're talking about Kickstarters ain't delivered.
Right. So they made $41,000.
Yes.
Yeah. It looks like of that $41,000, I don't know whether it's clear that they've not got the $41,000 anymore, or just realised that the $41,000 isn't enough. I think it's the latter.
I think it's not enough. They've
had to spend money from that $41,000 for their own personal life, which I guess makes sense, but it's just like, I don't know quite.
There we go. I must admit, my personal finances are currently run Amiga, and in order to make ends meet, I was forced to break into the book's remaining budget. As a result, there was no longer enough to guarantee payment for the editor and layout designer. Wow. So $41,000.
Yeah.
And they've got a manuscript, haven't even edited or laid it out.
Well, it's 50% bigger than it was initially anticipated.
I know, but the manuscript...
I understand what you're saying.
The manuscript didn't cost $41,000, did it?
No. It's like...
Well, this is their first creative project, so I think this might be... There's so many elements and costs to fulfilling a Kickstarter, like when you do the shipping, the fulfillment, the printing. I think sometimes people don't budget that correctly for scale. Because this had a goal of 10,000, and I think if you're planning your finances on that and then it scales to 41, sometimes it...
Well, he's writing a book that's 50% bigger than he thought it was originally going to be.
Right.
And, like, I mean, I do get it. I struggled for several months with one of my books because I just wanted to provide a way... It's basically 1 if by land, 2 if by sea, 3 if by air. I was basically battering my brains out, trying to make it so that there was a way to price up your own vehicles, because that's what I very much wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So you could create something and cost the various attributes. I couldn't make it work. And I realised, I didn't actually promise that I'd put that in. So I had to fall back to the minimum thing, which I said, which was what the book was. Well, yeah, I mean, like, we got some stuff on it, and it's, like, beautifully laid out. But yeah, it's, like, basically it's a contract, essentially, that I'm agreeing to. This is what I said it will do, and this is what I'm delivering. And I don't really see why it's like 50% bigger than it is, but I mean, at this point, I'm just like kind of disappointed, really, because I was hoping to have. I was quite looking forward to this book because
I don't know if Kickstarter will approve this.
Seems unlikely. I'll be honest.
Yeah, when they submit their second project for approval, I will be. I mean, I can't speak for Kickstarter. Maybe they will, but
it seems
I will not be surprised
their
if
terms,
Kickstarter does not approve.
Because they have rules about what you can and can't crowdfund for.
And also, I'll be honest, like the man saying, oh, yeah, all I need is another 200 backers. And it's like, well, good luck, I suppose, but I'm not giving you any more money. I pay for my book. Sorry. So he wants an extra 200 backers on top of the ones he's already got. And yeah, that seems optimistic to me. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe it will go smoothly, and I'll have my book before the end of 2024, in which case I'll definitely be singing his praises, saying, good work, Jacob Jerkinson.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, that was a Kickstarter. So that's 2 Kickstarter disasters we've just discussed.
Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. But there were like $9 million Kickstarters.
Wow. In 2023.
And that's not counting the backer kits. So it's 11 in total. Crowdfunding campaigns in 2023. So it was a big year for that stuff.
Yeah.
We had what do we have? We had the Crooked Moon Folk Horror. We had Ryoko's Guide to the Yokai Realms. Obojimba Tales from the Tall Grass. Dolmenwood Shadow Dark. Moria Through the Doors of Durin. TMNT. Tales of the Valiant. World of Dew's Lair. Dungeons and Lasers. And then we had MCDM, and we had, what was the other one? One more. What was it?
Oh,
Grimhaven, which Peter refuses to count, but Grimhaven.
Yeah, sure. It's an RPG.
Yeah.
It just happens to have a massively popular board game.
Yeah.
That comes with it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So there we go. So
it's a shame itch funding and hasn't really taken off.
No, I mean, it has taken off. It's just doing well. It's got a lot of stuff on it. I don't know what it's like for any individual creator on Itch.
Yeah, it really seems like more of a platform to go to if you want like a charity bundle out there.
Yeah.
Because I was like talking to someone online and they were telling me about Locust, horror role-playing game, because they'd like to see it stood next to Mothership and Call of Cthulhu. It sounded quite interesting. So I was like, where can I buy it? And I said, I'll just get it from Itch. I went, I actually already had bought it. Because I'd backed one of these bundles where you get like 1 million games. I just hadn't got round to reading it yet.
What a nice treat to find. Yeah, so when you find a £5 in your pocket, isn't it?
I mean, I gotta say, right, there is definitely a good chance that I'll be running that at some point this year, because our club is doing like monthly one-shots, and it's not like we're prohibiting Dungeons and Dragons or whatever, but it's like just give the GMs a break and one-shot, which will probably be of a different system.
I think
might not be.
One-shots are great to try out new systems, because I get not wanting to commit to a whole campaign if you're not sure on the system.
Yeah.
But a one-shot, worst case scenario, you sit somewhere for 4 hours and kind of have an okay time.
Not even that, 3 hours.
3 hours, for example, there you go.
Yeah. And it's a really, really valuable skill. I'd recommend, if you haven't run a wrong shot, it is worth getting practicing and trying to fit to a time slot. Go to conventions, try those out, because actually just being able to...
Me.
Well, yeah, it's like a bit stressful, but it's quite fun as well. You know, it's just like
you're gonna be running some chess soon.
I know.
Oh, you'll love it.
I know.
Yeah, tell people what to do. They'll enjoy that.
It's not that bad, honestly. The first few times I did it, I was really nervous, but people are really nice generally. You know, you hear all the horror stories and stuff, but I think generally people are pretty nice.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about other people not being nice. I'm worried about I'm not going to be good enough. That's the fear.
Like, you'll be fine.
Other people being mean, I can handle.
Yeah, I mean, basically, like, what does I'm being good enough mean in this context?
People have fun playing the game that I'm running.
Well, I mean, quite frankly, a lot of the time I'm not convinced that I'm really contributing anything to the situation apart from like facilitating their fun as they build it up themselves.
Yes.
I'm just like, yeah, this is pretty cool. They seem happy. I'm gonna let this continue. Okay, well, time's ticking on. Best move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And that people seem extremely happy with that. And I'm like, yeah, this is good.
I hope that's the case.
Yeah.
Anyway, was there anything else in 2023 you can think of? Oh, I know. I thought of something that happened. Netflix being sued by
Evil Genius.
Evil Genius about the Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
And that's still ongoing.
That is still ongoing. Because the movie's come out now.
It's on the Netflix. I saw it.
It's on one or more Netflixes.
Are there any other big highlights of 2023? For me, the OGL...
Did anything else happen in 2023? A few games, Paranoia, another edition of Paranoia came out. Dragon Starter Set came out.
I played that. Not Start Set. I played Pendragon. That was good.
Oh, I've never played it. I have it. I've never played it.
I mean, it's its own thing. It's very moving the spotlight around. It needs everyone to buy in. So at one stage, my character was fighting a duel with someone, full nightly battle, and the other players had to be happy standing on the sidelines cheering me on. So like there was no way they could actually materially affect the duel without breaking the codes of honour. So yeah, kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the year, isn't it?
That is kind of the year.
happened.
Loads of cool
Kinda the year.
indie games have been out as well, but to go into depth in them, check out Not D&D, I'd say. But yeah, loads of very cool indie stuff coming out as well.
The Level Up the Level Up box set came out, so that was quite cool.
It hasn't come out yet.
Well,
we
crowdfunded
it,
it, but it doesn't exist in our hands yet.
Yeah.
She says doing this weird gesture.
Jessica's forming some crab claws for reasons best known to herself. Yeah.
It's on its way then. I'm looking forward to it.
I don't think they're known to me, Peter.
It's just carcinization in progress. Everything becomes a crab eventually.
Exactly. Everything becomes a crab.
Yeah, and like I finished one book, managed to get funding for another.
That's good.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to be able to get to backers very soon. Just that last 5%.
Well, did it take 10 years?
I mean, I have Far West and Exalted Third Edition and the Heroes of Tara to console me that I'm not quite that.
Yeah,
there we go.
Don't take this as inspiration. Try. that's not a target to beat, by the way.
I'm pretty comfortable I can beat their times like for delivery. I don't think I want to beat their times to delay. That would be
thing is with
that I think I'd actually become unwell if that happened.
Thing is with Kickstarters, it's always just managing expectations. So whenever you think you're going to deliver your Kickstarter, add 2 or 3 months to that deadline. Because if you do finish when you think you are and you get to fulfill 2 months early, great. But how often does that actually happen? Very rarely.
I mean, it just depends on the team you're working with. I've worked with some people before, other people that haven't, and it's been an education. Yeah. It's been an education.
Every day's a school day, isn't
it? Yeah, but it's not been too bad. I could do some more stuff. I do have some plans for this year. If I can, I'll get some kobolds with revolvers out there, because that sounds like a fun time.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I like to support the GMs out there, and I do find revolvers in D&D and A5e quite annoying, because it's just like they don't really fit, they're massively overpriced, and also the monsters don't have them. And if you've got people slinging guns, then the monsters would definitely also be slinging guns, guaranteed. Yeah. I mean, just look at a Western. It's like pretty much every random cowpoke has a revolver, and that's because having a revolver
you could just reskin the monster's bow to a revolver, though.
Yeah.
Just say it's a revolver.
A revolving bow.
I thought I might build on the concept slightly, but again, that's showing my interest in things like Warhammer Fantasy and so forth.
There we go.
Legally distinct from Skaven in many ways.
Yeah.
Well, are we wrapping up now?
I think we're done.
Yeah, I think we're done.
That's it. So next week, going to talk about most anticipated RPGs of 2024.
Well, if you're listening to this on Monday, I think the polls will already have closed. So,
yes. Yeah. They're closed on Monday.
On Monday the 15th of January, so you have this very weekend to place your votes and tell us.
Toodaloo.
All right, thanks very much, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Apparently I now have to read this to you. This is the official podcast of Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG news, which you can find at enworld.org. You can find show notes at morrus.podbean.com or wherever you found the podcast. If you feel like they deserve it, you can support the show on Patreon. In return, you will receive exclusive bonus content. Just go to patreon.com/Morrus. If you're interested in his babbling nonsense, you can follow at Morrus on the Twitter. Send your emails to morruspodcast@gmail.com. Not all of your emails, just the ones you want us to see. That's it. I'm bored now. You can go away. Shoo, off you go. Goodbye. Get out of here.
I was talking to somebody about vines the other day as well.
Bless.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten they even existed.
Because they didn't know the reference. Look at all those chickens. And I was trying to explain it, but it's really hard to explain a meme when someone wasn't there and vines doesn't exist anymore. I think
if someone doesn't get the meme, there's no point trying to explain it, because it won't be funny even after you've explained it.
I tried. What can I say?
Russ, we know that jokes are always better when they're explained.
Oh yeah, of course, and repeated multiple times. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
You know how it works. If someone doesn't laugh first time, you tell the joke again and again and again and again, and eventually they'll laugh just to get you to shut up.
Yeah.
At which point you win. That's how comedy works.